Just taking a pause for coffee. Been out here since 4 o'clock this morning trying to duck traffic. I live in a very busy town called New York City. I'm down east side of Manhattan this morning, just stopping for my 3/4 distance coffee stop. I usually wait until closer to the end of the ride before I refresh or take liquids. Of course, drinking water all along because it's so hot. Weather has just been horrible for the last few years, and today is no exception. It is nice at the moment, but it is overcast. It's just interesting when I'm sitting downtown working all week long and I'm sitting there watching all of that beautiful sun occur all day long, and then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, as soon as Friday hits, that's when the rain comes. It starts raining late Friday and it'll rain all weekend, and you got to suffer through it and through the entire weekend because of that. But I have got to learn to become a more committed rain rider. Riding in the rain is something I just don't do. I've had enough accidents in my days. I didn't really have a whole lot of bike accidents until here earlier this year. Had my real first bike accident that basically you can hear me lipsing because I'm still mending from this. Definitely not going to show you what I look like because of the fact that it's been pretty bad. So not only did I have this incident with the bike, basically it was something we don't even talk about. Of course, you can hear all of the ambulances screaming and hollering all over the place. But yeah, we don't talk about a lot of the circumstances in relationship to accidents and bike riding. But actually, a lot of people do get hurt. A lot of them permanently and badly hurt if they're lucky enough to survive, because it's not like a car. You get hit on a car, you got a very good chance of surviving that if it's a low impact hit. But on a bicycle, every little touch is delicate, and there's always that risk that you can become pretty damaged. So you have to be very careful. Unfortunately, the last accident that I had here sent me flying as if though I was on a motorcycle, and it was just really weird, very strange situation because I was on my bike trying to recuperate and everything from the cold weather. You know, I do cold weather ride. Sometimes I've been out there when there's been ice on the ground. Don't advise it. But when you're dedicated into this process as much as I am, then you tend to go out in all kinds of weather. I used to do a lot of rain riding when I first started years ago, but you know, I've been riding this bike for some years, and rain, it just pretty much it's okay to ride in the rain. You'll get soaking wet, of course, but your bike is the problem. The deterioration of the bike. You don't see it, you go in, you think you wiped it down, dried it off, but no, not possible. That water gets inside of the systems, and that's where the real damage occurs. But my accident basically was no fault of my own. These roads out here, these streets are just incredibly busy, and they're constantly working on them. I mean, it's every street out here has got some kind of a system set up to be worked on, but the problem is there's no alternate routes unless you go 100 miles out of your way. And for a bike rider, you're trying to get to a distance as efficiently as possible. And if I see the street, I'm going to try to get through it. Well, it was a very interesting situation where the wind was blowing. They had these like yellow and orange straps hooked to barrels. And of course, I didn't see not one strap blow when I was coming towards the barrels. As soon as I got there, wind blew out of nowhere, blew a strap up. It caught the bottom hook of my bike, my horn here. So you can see like right down at the bottom there where your horn is. It caught that, and literally it's almost like Superman just stopped your bike right there because you're not going anywhere. So who's ever on the bike is going flying. So that was my first lesson in human flight, because it threw me probably a good, I want to say a good 12 feet off that bike. And while I'm gliding through the air, I weigh 165 pounds. And basically, that's a lot of weight. I don't care if you're 110, you're going to feel it when you hit that tarmac. And my face went right into it. My whole entire face went right into the tarmac. I thought I had broken all my teeth out. Luckily enough, I've got good, strong, healthy teeth. And yeah, the gums were bleeding, but luckily enough, none of them cracked or broke. But my teeth went into my lip. So while I was going through the lip, that caused, if you've ever had that kind of injury before, but when that happened, it caused just tremendous blood. Now, I'm not going to get too graphic about the situation, but yeah, there was a whole lot of loss of blood. My knees, my leg, my hands, my arm. One arm was broken. It's still mending now. I kind of waited for about a month before I got back out there because I couldn't hardly move, couldn't hardly walk. My legs were just like somebody had taken a machete and just went nuts on them. That's about the best description I can give. But yeah, they are all mended up. They're still healing, but they're mended up as far as the scarring and whatnot. Don't know how that's going to turn out. But then the facial area, like I said, it's still healing also. I mean, I can still feel it when I touch the scar area. I can still feel the, the mending going on underneath. And if you've had any real bad injuries, you definitely know, because you could feel the muscles and the tissue and everything moving around while it's trying to heal, trying to put everything back in place. Unfortunately, the human body is a piece of work in itself because it's not designed for injury. I mean, little minor scrapes, you'll be okay. But if you get any real injury, the human body is just incredibly one of the worst things to injure. But long story short, not only did I have that accident, I've been trying to repair. I just recently put my summer wheels on the bike. I usually do my training wheels on there all winter, fall, spring, because the weather is just horrible here. And with these carbon wheels, they're like eggshells. The bike is like an eggshell, but this is a pretty strong bike. For the damage that happened with that accident, I was kind of surprised. The only thing I really got out of the bike just went flying, after it got held up. And when it broke loose, because I was going like 20 something miles an hour trying to climb that hill, and when that thing blew out, and it threw me off, but the bike got stopped. But because it was going so fast, once that Superman type grab happened, it's used its energy and just continued to bounce and just threw itself right out into the street. Luckily enough, the person that was coming was smart enough to put on brakes and stop, because I was in the middle of the street. Cars everywhere. People are flying out of the car trying to check and see what was going on with me. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. I'll just leave it at that. But at any rate, not only did I have that situation, but I also had a situation whereas I'm going to show you here real quick where there's that damage you see there. I had a derailleur that blew out. The derailleur literally blew out back in January. It slammed loose, rammed itself into my down tube there, and of course it was ruined, just unbelievably ruined. I mean, it's like half the down tube was gone. And so what I did was I had to call everybody and his brother. And of course, I shouldn't have touched this bike. The alarm just went off. I had to call everybody and his brother to try to find if anybody knew anything about trying to get the damage fixed. And of course, everyone I talked to, it's going to be $1,200 minimum to get that fixed. And my thing was, I'm like, I want to get it fixed, But I'm not willing to pay $1,200 to get a bike this bike must be 12, 13 years old. Probably got, I don't know, 40, 50,000 miles on it. So, trying to put that kind of pressure on the bike to get it fixed, I just didn't see where it was a viable situation. And as you can see on my system here, is telling me that it's a aerial flood watch. So New York is, I don't know why people love New York so much. I was born and raised here, but I gotta tell you, to me, ever since I've been here, I've been just trying to get away. I did get away. I moved to San Francisco when I was in the military, but I mean, San Francisco, unless you got family or a lot of money, I may as well stay home in the area where I was, because I at least knew how to navigate this town, as opposed to going to a town and basically got to start all over from scratch. And I'm not the kind of person, subservient type. So my thing is, I'm not doing a whole lot of jobs that a lot of people are willing to do. I don't care how far it gets me. I'm more self-sufficient. So, that's part of my channel as well. But I try to do finance, business, and lifestyle. And part of my lifestyle, a great part of my lifestyle, is this biking system. So yeah, it cost quite a bit to get the bike repaired. And you want to know how I got this bike back on the road? Because actually I was going to throw it out in the trash after I kept talking to everybody, and every bike shop I went, oh, that's done, you're finished, you're not going to be able to fix that, and $1,500 to fix it on the companies that I spoke to about it. And basically I just got tired of it because I had so many other things I needed to do, and I was just going to let it go. But what I finally ended up doing was fixing it myself. It took me the weekend to do it, but I was able to get it done. And here I've been riding this thing now probably for about, 4 months since it broke, since it was damaged. But anyway, that is the gist of my story. I'm going to drink my coffee, sit here and enjoy the sun before it disappears. Thank you so much for listening to my YouTube channel. You all have a great day.